Hello my Taurus friends, this is Kristen Redman, Astrological Intuitive, and today we are going to be talking about what 2021 has in store for your sun sign. Now this is just an overall view of Taurus as a sun sign in general, but if you want to dig further into your own specific chart and see how the planetary alignments that we talk about today, how it impacts your specific chart, or as I like to call it, your roadmap, how it affects you specifically, please check on the link below and set up a time to do a reading with me. We can go in even further to see how this year will be even more transformative for you in particular. So, but in general, let's talk about all Taurus, right? This is quite a year. You have a lot happening. You have a new beginning, starting thanks to an eclipse that's happening in your sign that hasn't happened since 2013, and before that it was 2003. We have some pretty major things happening in your career house, and just in general, reassessment and reevaluation of who you are and where you're going and what the true authentic you is as it starts to emerge. I mean, this is a huge time for you, and we'll get into it starting now. Let's get into it here. So now Taurus, you rule the second house in astrology, which deals with all things that are physical and tangible, such as money, finances, possessions, and what else falls into that is anything that we hold of value. So self-worth also falls into that category of the second house and what Taurus represents in the zodiac wheel. Now this year, where we're going to start this out at is in the house of finances for you, because there's so much happening. There's so much happening there. Now, first and foremost, in astrology, what we look to is the eclipses. The eclipses are a time that's known to bring in new energy. It brings new beginnings. It forces endings. And it makes it very obvious from the universe where changes have to happen in our lives. Now, where this is going to be happening for you this year is in your financial sectors, in your chart, as well as the Mercury retrogrades too. So there was a lot of reassessment as to what you hold of value, what your main values are, how those are subject to change, and also finances as well. You're looking at things through a different lens, okay? And that all becomes pretty obvious because of Uranus moving into your sign, which is an 80-year cycle that has never happened in your lifetime, unless you're like 90, then it would have happened. But it started in 2018, and it really started taking root last year. Uranus is the planet of unexpected things, and it moved into your sign of Taurus. Now, for all of us collectively in the world, moving into the sign of Taurus brings unexpected things to the area of security for us. What we knew as our stability and our security and our financial resources, Uranus threw quite a curveball into that, didn't it? But on a personal level, when we look at it for Taurus, it's shaking things up. You are the hub of the wheel. You are the shoulders that carry the burden for a lot, whether it's home, work. You take on a lot, Taurus. You always do. And with Uranus moving into your sign, you start to go, well, how does this benefit me? This isn't good for who I am now. And Uranus is throwing unexpected events, cycles, people into your life that are making you really go, who am I and what do I want? And that started really last year, really taking root last year, and it goes until 2026. This is a several year process of reconfiguring who you are and what you want, so the real, true, authentic you can emerge. Now, that is going to be continuing throughout this year, really pushing those areas to push you outside of your comfort zone, right? Because Taurus is known for, you're ruled by Venus, which is the planet of comfort. So you get stuck in comfort zones a little bit more than most signs do. And so Uranus this year is going to continue to push you outside of those comfort zones, really getting you to push through those self-imposed limitations that you've set for yourself to really find that true authentic you. Now let's go back to finances, right? We were talking about that before. Now what we have is these new beginnings, right? These eclipses really signal times for new beginnings, and we haven't had eclipses in your sign since the first or the last one that we had was 2013, 2014. And then we dial it back again and it was 2003, 2004. These were the last times we had Taurus eclipses, and it's happening again this year. Now, what they're trying to do is bring new beginnings in terms of finances, what you hold of value, and your self-worth as well. So it's really important that you look at, especially the eclipses that are happening June 10th, May 26th, December 4th. These are the pivotal ones, all right? What's happening is they are restructuring your old beliefs and your old ways of dealing with money, how you value money and what value you assign to it is under major scrutiny and major change. What's making you reassess this as well is not only the events that the eclipse are bringing to the surface, but because Mercury is going to be retrograding in those financial sectors of your chart. Now, when I say Mercury retrograde in the financial sectors of your chart, Mercury is the planet of the mind, and it's the planet of movement and speed. When Mercury slows down, it's a time for us to reassess. Now, when it's happening in all of your financial sectors, you're looking at your debts. You're looking at where your money is going. You're looking at how much money you're making. You're looking at the money that your partner and other people that are around you, so whether that's child support or money that you get through investments or what have you. This is a year where there's a lot of reassessment going on in those areas because you need to let go of the unnecessary expenses and pay the debt down. This is a year where you're really going to be able to make some major headway with that in terms of paying down the debt. Now, that's for finances. Huge year, big things. Look to those eclipses and see what the universe is bringing to you, okay? Now we're going to move on to love. Let's move on to love, right? Because there's some new fresh energy that's coming through that hasn't been there for 2 years thanks to Mars. Mars is the engine that drives us all, and it pushes new energy into our lives. Now it's going to be moving on Halloween, and it ends December 14th. Mars is going to be moving through that house of marriage, relationships, and partnerships where it hasn't been since 2019. Now, when it does that, it is bringing some much needed passion, energy, and new beginnings into those areas. So whether you're looking for a new relationship or you're looking to invigorate an existing relationship, whether that's romantic or a business partnership, this is the energy that's really going to make that happen towards the end of 2021 for you. Now, one of the major caveats, though, that goes hand in hand for these new beginnings to happen is that you have to set explicitly clear boundaries, okay, my Taurus friends? You really got to know that this is critical. Negotiating the boundaries in these relationships and having that up front right away is going to be crucial to the success of that relationship and moving forward. Now, let's move on to career, because this is another area that's getting such a major energy that's happening. Okay, so the career house is ruled by Aquarius for you, my Taurus friends. You're natural born entrepreneurs. You're the ones that have the global best interest at heart as well too. You tend to take a friendship approach when you are around coworkers and people that work with you, because that's what Aquarius does. Now, what we have happening is we have Jupiter, the planet of opportunity and luck, that's moving into your career sector this year where it hasn't been for 12 years. Okay, 2008 was the last time that you really had just good luck on your side when it came to career, and you've been working really hard ever since. You've been working hard since the dawn of time, Taurus, because that's what you represent as hard work and tenacity. All right, now what happens is that over time, Saturn, the planet of hard work, pays off. It pays you the dividends for all the hard work that you've put in. And it takes 30 years for Saturn to move around that wheel and land back into the career house for you, where it hasn't been for a very long time. 30 years it hasn't been since Saturn has landed back into this area. So where you have Jupiter trying to bring blind, dumb luck this year, I mean, just opportunities that pop up out of nowhere. You don't have to have the plan, okay? Because Jupiter is going to bring it through. Unexpected opportunities come through and good luck in career. But then right behind it, you have Saturn working in its 30-year thing saying, you've already earned this. You've put in the hard work. You've sown the seeds. Now you're going to reap the benefits. So you have good luck, plus you have the hard work. And then on top of that, you have Saturn that's going to be working over the next 2 years as it moves through that career house of yours to stabilize the new beginnings that are happening there for you this year. So whether you're looking for a new career, okay, because you've got Uranus regardless, pushing you into new areas that are more authentic to who you are. It may surprise people around you, but darn it, it's working better for you. If you feel that push, you have that lucky opportunity coming through and you have the solid legs under it thanks to Saturn. So that's a wonderful energy that's going to be happening there. Now, one of the things I want to bring to the surface, though, is that Uranus, right? It does bring unexpected events. It does bring a bit of a electrified energy inside of you that becomes very, very self-focused. One time this year to really watch out for that is going to be January 20th when Mars, the planet of impulse, aligns with Uranus, and that hasn't happened for 2 years. Now it's in your sign though, so it takes on a little bit of a different flavor. If you're feeling the push to literally up and leave and change things immediately, I would say in this time frame at the end of January to really dial it back, focus on what's happening around you, tune into your higher self, and see if it's something that you've planned out. For one, okay, this may be the push that's needed to finally get you outside of your comfort zones, yes, but make sure that you have a solid plan attached to it. Don't just walk out of a job or out of your relationship or what have you without making sure that you have the solid feet under it, okay? This is going to be that time where we were talking earlier about you reassessing what you hold as your 5 really true core values. This is going to be the time frame when they really come to the forefront, all right? So I would take that time to reassess and say, does this new change fall into what I value the most? Okay, that's definitely going to be a big one. Huge year for Taurus in general. I mean, we could go on for an hour about that, I'm telling you. But right now, what I'm going to do is dial in specifically for certain birthdays, okay? If your birthday doesn't fall in here, it doesn't mean it's going to be as non-transformative of a year. Of course it's going to be. You have an eclipse that's happening, so there is some new beginnings that are very much meant to happen for all of the Taurus out there this year. But in general, we're looking at certain birthdays. So if your birthday falls between April 21st and May 5th, Saturn, that planet that stabilizes things, is going to be working with you, okay? Big time, helping you to focus on making those long-term plans, especially in finances, remember, because we talked about that earlier, about how that's a major shift that's happening if you're ready to pay down debt. Working hard on becoming very clear on your values. You fall into this category more than most Taurus, okay? If your birthday falls between April 21st and May 5th, you're going to be reassessing your values a little bit more so. And because you are very, very hyper-focused this year on being authentic and true to who you really are, all right? So become clear on those. Boundaries are going to be a big issue for you this year as well. Boundaries with yourself, boundaries with others, all right? And really looking at what you're responsible for and what other people are responsible for, and making sure it falls into the proper bucket of whose responsibility it is. Now, if your birthday falls between April 28th and May 6th, Uranus, that planet of unexpected things and electricity, is aligning with your sun. So you have a push very much for the true authentic you to emerge. Changes that are going to be happening this year for you that may shock other people around you that were not expecting that. And it may shock you most of all, the things that happen, because they come out of left field. You don't know what Uranus is going to bring. It could be super, super great. It can be super, super bad. No matter what, though, when you look back after the dust settles, it was the absolute best thing for you because it's pushing you to greater levels of who you truly are. Okay. Definitely gaining an increased sense of who you are this year if your birthday falls from April 28th to May 6th. Now, tiny little period here, May 16th to May 18th birthdays, Pluto is going to be working with you. It's sending you into a bit of a hibernation mode this year. You are really going to scale it back and do a lot of introspection this year. This is definitely the metaphoric caterpillar to the butterfly transformation year for you. You are really reassessing your values. You are really reassessing who you are and what is affecting you and your self-worth. And so this is going to be a time where you emerge with greater clarity on what is making you authentic, and that what you're doing is making choices that are authentic to who you're going to be moving forward. This is a major time for all Taurus out there, and I highly advise reaching out to a wonderful astrologer such as myself. The link is below to get more information on that as well, or just in general to look at how, if you were to Google it, Google Uranus transit of Taurus, and it'll give you even more insights about this major shift and change that's pushing you to greater heights in your life. Okay, I thank you so much for watching, and I hope for you to have a wonderful, blessed, prosperous 2021. Thank you.